You are now tuning into FC Barcelona Central. I am your host, Pedro, and I have a ton of news from FC Barcelona. We're talking today about the Pablo Torre exit, revealing surprising financial details behind his move to Mallorca, plus the hunt continues for the left winger, with the new names entering the mix and massive news regarding Ter Stegen, who is back early in Ciudad Esportiva, setting the stage for a crucial meeting with Hansi Flick. While we wait news on the Johan Gamper Trophy potentially returning home. So let's get right into all the details. But first thing is first. Big news from our golden boy, Lamine Yamal, like the rest of the squad and other international who participated in the Nations League Final Four, is scheduled to report to Ciudad Esportiva on Sunday for medical test. This will be the very first kickoff of the Barca 2025-2026 season, with the first double training set for Monday the 14th. Throughout this upcoming week, the Blaugrana club plans to organize a new public act for Lamine Yamal's renewal at the club offices. This will occur once his new contract until 2031 comes into effect this Sunday, the day that he turns 18. The forward did not want photos released on May 27 when he first signed the new contract in Joan Laporta's offices, because his grandmother wasn't there and his brother was not there either. This time they will be there and there will be photos alongside the future owner of the No Barca number 10, which is Lamine Yamal, and the rest of his family. So let's get ready for this monumental moment, and it's going to be nice. I can't wait for these photos to be released. Now, in the hunt for the wingers, the crucial new number winger, I don't know whose number is going to be, but the battle for Luis Diaz at 28 years old is definitely shaping up to be contested. Barca has maintained contact with the Colombian forward because we know, and everybody knows that that's our main target. And to strengthen the left wing. But we are not alone trying to secure his services. Bayern Munich, who also wanted Nico Williams, are also now willing to bid strongly for the Liverpool forward, who recently left the door open to the possibility of leaving the English club. Diaz himself said that we are there in terms of negotiations, and we will see what happens for us and in the club, trying to make the best decision. Now, according to German newspaper Bild, Manchester United, who already submitted their first offers to Luis Diaz and was rejected, now has offered Liverpool 52 million euros for the Colombian international. The same newspaper indicates that the player has reportedly given his approval to play for Bayern. However, sources close to the player said that Luis Diaz's desire has always been to play for Barca. Unlike Nico Williams, who set conditions very, very weird to be released for free if they not could be registered, Luis Diaz has clearly conveyed to Barca that he will not impose any conditions, and that he is convinced that if the Blaugrana club will sign him, they will ultimately resolve the financial fair play issues. While Barca tries to convince Liverpool with cautions, Bayern Munich is increasing the pressure, knowing that they already offloaded Leroy Sané and now face a serious injury to Jamal Musiala, which will weaken their attack. With all options on the table, which this kind of seems a little bit complicated, we know that Luis Diaz is very expensive and Bayern is pushing hard. Marcus Rashford is a slow burn negotiation, and he still doesn't generate an absolute consensus within the club. However, the Blaugrana club has other options in the table. We spoke yesterday about Rafael Leao, and we are closing, looking at all options. But we are taking a look at another situation of the Atalanta star, Ademola Lookman. He's a player that Flick likes, but his situation doesn't invite optimism because relationships with his entourage are kinda tense. Lookman is trying for years to make a big jump from Atalanta to a top-level Champions League, but so far no one has taken the step to sign him. The Italian club took a gamble on signing him for RB Leipzig for 10 million, and he had truly exploded in the Serie A. He has matured internationally, and now he's a much more complete player. Although he still needs to take a definite step to settle into the elite, he remains quite inconsistent. He's definitely a pure winger. He's fast with a keen eye for goal. He can also play all attacking positions, something that Barca highly values in Luis Diaz, who remains the main candidate for that position if the economic situation is feasible. Atalanta will be willing to negotiate his sale, but for less than 50 million because his contract ends in 2027, which he has not renewed yet. Also, it's key to note that Tottenham is also looking to sign the player. The major handicap here is that Lookman shares the agency with Marc-Andre ter Stegen, and there are potential issues with the goalkeeper that you guys are aware of. The German is going to push to stay here at Barca, and this could create an uncomfortable situation for all parties. Oh man, which it could influence to some degree the Lookman's entourage. For now, Barca only has information on his situation. Like many of the wingers, they haven't not gone any further. Barca priority first is to sell some of the players who have a very significant salary and trying to get them out of their team, and then invest in the wingers is definitely a must. Barca is going to take it calmly because this is a strategic signing, and they believe that negotiation, whoever the chosen one is, will be long and complicated, likely not ending until August. So let's stay tuned for that. Another particular departure here is the one of Pablo Torres, who is transferring to Mallorca. So back in the summer of 2022, Pablo Torres landed in Barcelona as a part of our policy to sign young new talent, national talent, Spanish talent, with Mateo Lemans in the sporting department anticipating the interest from other teams like Real Madrid. Xavi Hernandez was key to securing the player. However, 3 years later, having to fail to truly establish himself in the first team, he's now off to Mallorca. Beyond getting 5 million from this operation, Barca also will save considerable amount in this transfer, and I can go ahead and tell you why. In an agreement between FC Barcelona and Racing Santander signed in March 2022, it was stipulated that the Cantabrian club will have received a fixed amount of 5 million. To this, a series of variables could have increased the transfer figure over 20 million, but most of these conditions have not been met. In fact, Barca only had to pay an additional 1 million to Racing Santander precisely during this past season. Both clubs agreed that for every 10 official matches that Pablo Torres played a minimum of 45 minutes with the first team, the Northern Spain club will receive 1 million, up to a limit of 14 million, meaning that the player would have had to reach 140 matches to reach the maximum figure. This circumstance obviously has not even became close to happening. Precisely, he only played more than 45 minutes in 10 matches. Throughout, he accumulated a total of 26 appearances. First, it was not even met at all when on Barca or when he went to Girona, where he has been on loan for the last season. Despite this, Pablo Torres has become a key player in La Rojita. There is another stipulation that Barca will have to pay another million if the Cantabria player was called up for the senior Spanish national team, which also has not happened. And this is truly because his low participation. Regarding the percentage of a future transfer, it's worth noting that Barca will collect the full transfer fee from Mallorca. The last clause agreed upon between Barcelona and Racing was the perception of a percentage if a possible future transfer, provided that the Catalan club made a profit. In this sense, since Mallorca will not pay more than 5 million euros, we won't have to share that amount with Racing. Now, this transfer, in essence, is turning out to be a beneficial financially for us. Another major development here is that we know that players are coming in early to Ciudad Deportiva. And the name here is Marc-Andre ter Stegen, who showed up yesterday 3 days ahead of his scheduled call to the training ground. The rest of the group has medical tests, like I said, on Sunday, with training starting on Monday. But the German goalkeeper did not want to wait. At the club facility, he found Joan Garcia, who was signed to be the starting goalkeeper this season, according to the club's planning and vision. The former Espanyol player began to work in the gym on Tuesday, and both keepers had a chat, and with Marc-Andre ter Stegen and giving him a warm welcome. Also present at Ciudad Esportiva was Joseph Ramon de la Fuente, the first team goalkeeper coach. While Hansi Flick is expected to be there on Friday, he himself was not at Ciudad Esportiva during the Ter Stegen 2-hour and 20-minute session. The meeting between Flick and Ter Stegen, according to Catalunya Radio, is planned for this Friday. The coach intends to personally convey him to what his role will be in this season, and if the goalkeeper requested, sporting director Deco will also be in the summit. But initially, he's not expected to be there, as this matter is only technical and is only between the coach and the player. Upon leaving, Mark waited on the ramp for the traffic lights to turn green, and he did not stop to sign any autograph or answer any question from any journalist. He also avoided lowering his window. The renewal of Szczęsny to 2027, announced by Barca this past week, confirmed that the club plan is to prioritize Johan Garcia and Szczęsny, effectively moving away from Marc-Andre Ter Stegen, who has no intention of leaving this summer. The 33-year-old German native has a contract until 2028, and his national coach Julian Nagelsmann says he's a top candidate for the German starting goalkeeper for the 2026 World Cup. However, for that, he will need to play this season, and that seems unlikely at Barcelona according to the club's current plan. This is a very critical situation that we're going to keep an eye on, and I'll give you all the news here. The other issue here or news is some new exciting news about our beloved home. The Governing Commission of Barcelona City Council approved the modification of the Spotify Camp Nou activities and work license this Thursday. This is a first step for FC Barcelona to be able to host the Joan Gamper Trophy on August 10 at the Blaugrana Stadium, which continues with renovations. Barca submitted all the documentation well in advance so that the city technicians could evaluate the status of the works and give the approval for their initial authorization, ensuring that the stadium renovation complies with local regulations. Once this is achieved, the club needs to be granted the first occupancy license when it completes the work phase, which it must be finished by the end of July. This is a very important step, and the hope of the Blaugrana official is that by meeting this requirement, and if the city grants the license, they will be on schedule to ensure that the Joan Gamper Trophy, which this year will be against the Italian team Como, which is coached by Cesc Fabregas, can be played at the Spotify Camp Nou. The first phase of this accommodation looks to hold around 62,000 spectators. This first phase, with Barca wants to have ready by the end of July at the latest, include the subsoil, the first and the second tier seats. The next and most important step is the first occupancy license, which allows the stadium to be occupied on any given day. This requires that the works comprising the subsoil first and second tiers are complete. They say that the club is working on them hard and they have not yet finished, so we cannot yet grant the first occupancy license, said some local officials. So fingers crossed for this, so we can celebrate the Joan Gamper Trophy back at the newly Spotify Camp Nou. So wow, Culés, what an action-packed update, from financial intricacies on the Pablo Torres departure to new exciting names like Adema Lookman entering our winger hunt. We'll still keeping an eye on the Luis Diaz saga, which is intensifying with Bayern Munich's new vid. Also, the pivotal Lamine Yamal's renewal ceremony and the intriguing situation with Ter Stegen return. To see if he's going to return, is he going to stay, is he going to be on the bench? Who knows? Well, what do you think of Lookman's potential target? How do you really feel about Marc-Andre Ter Stegen arriving early to meet with Hansi Flick? And are you excited, as I am, about the Gamper Trophy being played back at the Spotify Camp Nou? Let me know your thoughts and predictions in the comments below. And for all breaking news and latest updates from this thrilling club, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss a single update. Until next time, and Visca Barça!